Hello and welcome. You're with News 9 Live. It may be recalled that one of the reasons for the existence of Dravidian parties in Tamil Nadu was because of their protest against what they called as Hindi imposition. During the 60s, we saw several riots and several lives were also lost because they felt that the north of India, particularly the Hindi bastion, was trying to dominate their identity, which was essentially Tamil and Dravidian. Since then, the Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam or DMK has forever spoken about Hindi imposition. 2 years ago, there were t-shirts which went viral saying Hindi Theriyadu Poda, which actually means I do not know Hindi, go away. Now recently, Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Stalin has written to Amit Shah and has said that he opposes the non-inclusion of Tamil in the computer test for recruitment to the CRPF. Stalin highlighted that the notification mandated only the use of English and Hindi, and it was discriminatory and unilateral. According to a state government release of 9,000, 212 vacancies in the CRPF, 579 had to be filled in from Tamil Nadu, the exam for which is scheduled to be held in 12 centers. Meanwhile, Congress leader from Karnataka, Siddaramaiah, has requested Prime Minister Narendra Modi to allow writing the Central Reserve Police Force recruitment examination in Kannada and relax the Hindi and English requirement as well. So if you can see, it's spreading like a bushfire from Tamil Nadu to Karnataka saying, please include Tamil and Kannada respectively. Let's now expand the discussion. I'm joined in by guest Gladstone Xavier, who is a political analyst, and also Venkat Narayanan, who is a senior journalist. But in the studio, my colleague Verghese joins us right now on the Hindi imposition debate. Verghese, you know, this has been going on. If you look at it, Udayanidhi Stalin, when he was not a minister and was leading the DMK youth wing, he had also said that, you know, Hindi cannot be made compulsory. It is an official language, but to call it a Rashtra Bhasha is something which goes against the kernel of what is federalism in this country. Now tell me something, this has to do with an examination. Do you think this is only a political stunt because it only happened on Thursday and the exams are right around the corner? Or do you think this is yet another attempt by Stalin to insist that he is first a Tamil and then maybe someone who will even allow Hindi to get into the doorstep of Tamil Nadu?
Well, Sudha, if you look at it, it's both ways. By having to stand against Hindi, you're reasserting the Dravidian idea, the Dravidian ethos of promoting Dravidian language, and in this case, of course, Tamil. But then the larger issue is also there, which is to say that those who would be coming from the Hindi belt and giving those exams would be at an advantage because Hindi is their mother tongue. That is what the DMK has been saying. Why is it that those who have Hindi as their mother tongue get an advantage in such exams? Because these exams are conducted in English and in Hindi,
right,
but not the people from the southern states, those who come from Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, or with regards to Karnataka as well.
Yeah.
So they feel, or the DMK says that this is discriminatory when it comes to that aspect.
But Verghese, also another point that Stalin makes is that 25 marks out of 100 is for Hindi comprehension. And he said, what does a student do from Tamil Nadu? I'm sure that applies to Kannadiga student as well, you know. But the rest, you know, I'm just playing the devil's advocate. They may say, fine, 25 marks, maybe you can't, but you can crack the rest, right? So why is it that you're only focusing on that? Verghese, what do you say to such an argument then?
Well, that is what most of these parties have also been saying, that Hindi is getting a backdoor entry for universal legitimization when it comes to India's civil services, or when I say civil services, not the IAS alone, like CRPF recruitment exam, railway recruitment exam. So Hindi is becoming the dominant factor in it. So they think that there's an agenda on the part of the central government to push Hindi backdoor wise. So when you're talking about 25 marks and in a public exam like this, where each point marks counts, losing out on 25 marks in fact pushes and puts them at a disadvantages.
Right. And, you know, the thing is that NEET, for instance, I mean, there was the longest fight that, you know, the entire contention about NEET was, look, this child has studied in Tamil medium till class 8. Suddenly you ask him or her to do this exam in English. So it was a bone of contention. Don't you remember how many suicides had occurred, you know, in Tamil Nadu owing to failure, or rather, even forget failure, Verghese, it was the fear of sitting for that exam.
The fear happened because, again, most of them have been trained in their first language, which would be their native mother language. And most of the people, especially in Tamil Nadu, who wanted or had aspirations towards NEET, found that they were losing out because either they have to express in the second language, which could be English, or any other language that has been made mandatory. And it is not that these exams were not earlier in their own languages. These exams were held in various regional languages as well. It is in the last 15 years that there has been an effort to dilute the regional languages away from these.
But then SSLC, if you see, you can give it in the regional language, isn't that right? Or UPSC mains. You can give your regional languages.
So that is the duality of the policies which the government in Tamil Nadu is trying to highlight, or the party in Tamil Nadu has been trying to highlight it. So this puts them into a disadvantage, is what they say, that there is an unfair advantage that is being built into a system for a certain group of people from a geographical region, while the people who are supposed to be also presented, even though you have the quota to fill, like in this around 500 seats are to be filled from Tamil Nadu, but they might not make it to it because of this language disadvantage.
Because of those 25 marks particularly, and also English, for a lot of them, Verghese, we sitting here in studios, we may think, but then for a lot of students in Tamil Nadu, English is also alien, although the government has always said Tamil and English, because they feel that if you study English, their contention being that you have more exposure to the world. But when you are writing an exam, I think that is also a bone of contention.
Well, any language other than the language which is native to the person would tend to be the second language of the person. So when a person is expressing in its in his or her communication, it would reflect on it. Understanding, comprehension, all these factors are there when a person writes an exam. So this is where they tend to lose, is what the government has been saying, and that's why they have been fighting. We have the NEET issue that was highlighted, as well as now the CRPF issue, but later things also might in fact see this.
Right, Verghese, and also joining me are the guest I promised right at the beginning of this show, Gladstone Xavier, who's a political analyst, and Venkat Narayanan, who's a senior journalist. A very warm welcome to both of you. Now, this keeps coming up, the Hindi imposition question by Muka Stalin, Now with CRPF, I want you to take turns. Mr. Xavier, if you could go first. Do you think that this is pertinent? This is really addressing the needs of Tamil Nadu, where he feels that if you have a mandatory computer examination in Hindi and English, and particularly 25 marks only for Hindi comprehension, a lot of students will be disadvantaged, Mr. Xavier?
Thank you. One of the areas that has been a serious bone of contention is language discrimination. The point here being, it's not that when Mr. Stalin is raging or something comes from the south, he's not fighting for Tamil language alone. He is fighting for the entire language diversity that's present in this country. So please don't be mistaken that this is only a Tamil issue. It's not a Tamil issue. This is a larger issue that we need to address as a nation. One of the major problems that we have been facing is giving supremacy of one language over the other. And here the point being Hindi. Now, we don't study Hindi in our school. We don't have Hindi medium education. And yet we have one of the largest, oldest languages being spoken, that is Tamil over here. And then which does not have a right place. Today, if you see, I would strongly stand by Mr. Stalin when he's talking about advocating for Tamil or any other regional language for that matter. Because the CRPF or any other government body, where it's supposed to be serving within a regional framework, it's better to have people speaking their own language, especially when it comes to organizations of security or the uniformed services. Today, the issue comes as in the railways, for example. A TT who's working in Tamil Nadu, who's supposed to know the language, does not speak Tamil in a Tamil train, in Tamil Nadu train. How do you expect like a TT who comes to inspect your tickets is asking in Hindi, asking my name in Hindi?
Right.
Very. How am I supposed to? The train is in Tamil Nadu.
Yes, Mr. Xavier. I think that's a very that's a very practical question that you have. Go on. Go ahead.
The next issue is the next issue is in a bank. For example, the banks are in Tamil Nadu. The rural areas happen to me in a rural area in a bank where I do my farming banking practices. Over there, when I go, the manager speaks only Hindi and he wants me to communicate in Hindi. Now, I can understand some broken Hindi, given my urbanized travel and traveling all over the country. I can understand a little bit of Hindi, but my Hindi is very broken. Now, for me, I can make sense of what he's saying. Now, a farmer carrying a yellow bag walks into his room and he makes a fluent conversation with that farmer in Hindi, asking him a battery of questions. Now, how can this even be justified? It is
Absolutely.
justified. Now,
Yes.
how did this come to be? Now, see, these are very key areas that one needs to concentrate. I'm not against any language, that at the outset. But primary importance is at the end service, who is benefiting?
Right,
We all
Mr.
have
Xavier.
jobs. Now,
Yeah,
giving 25 marks for
yeah,
Hindi,
yeah. Let me also get Venkat
giving
Narayan,
25
who's a,
marks for Hindi.
yeah, I'll come back to you, Mr. Xavier. You've made some very pertinent points and which gives me a lot of talking points. Mr. Venkat Narayanan, I want to ask you, these are very practical, a farmer carrying the manjapai or the yellow bag and going into a bank where he's spoken to in Hindi. I mean, it's a completely different world for him. Like if someone spoke to me in Swahili, I mean, I wouldn't know which way to look. Why is it mandatory for me as a Tamil to know the language that you're speaking? What if we flip it and, someone from North India, if he's spoken to in Tamil, Kannada, Malayalam, Tulu or whatever, how does he react? Now tell me something. Devil's advocates say, why not? Hindi and English will give you a kind of a wider audience, will give you more exposure. Let's challenge our youngsters to do that. Do you agree to this devil's advocate agreement, or you think, no, it is not necessary to have these examinations in either English or Hindi, Mr. Narayanan?
Well, with due respect to Mr. Stalin and everybody who is advocating the need for the CRPF exams to be held in Tamil also, I wish to submit that it is very important for people wherever they may be living in this great country to be familiar with not just their mother tongue, but also other languages which are widely understood across the country. If you are trying for a job in a central service, be it railways or administrative service, foreign service, CRPF, or even a Jawan in the Indian Army, it's very important. Supposing you're posted in Ladakh,
right,
or supposing you're posted, close to the Pakistan border, you need to be able to speak either in Hindi or English. If you are familiar only with Tamil language, then you will necessarily be confined to be working in Tamil Nadu only. But Tamil Nadu is a part of a huge country where more than 100 languages are spoken, but at least 15 or 16 languages are widely understood and they are recognized nationally. And so if we had a 3-language formula, being implemented across the country, it would have been much better.
No, but yeah.
For example, my mother tongue is Telugu. I went to a Telugu medium school, but I also learned Hindi and English. I live in Delhi for the last more than 50 years, and I'm very comfortable communicating with anybody in India in Hindi and anybody in English on the planet.
Right.
Those languages have helped me. If I did not know Hindi or English, I would have been confined to living in Telangana now alone.
Right.
So if you are aspiring for a job in a national kind of service, it is very important for you to
Mr.
know
Narayan,
English and another language which is widely spoken.
Yes, you make a pertinent. Varghese,
This is my view.
Like Mr. Narayan was saying, that if there is central examination that you're giving, you learn these two languages. But the point is that Tamil Nadu and Stalin have been saying that Hindi is an official language. It's not the Rashtra Bhasha. So why is it that we should learn Hindi? So somewhere do you think in all this debate, the practicality of doing a job is also being lost, Varghese?
Well, there is, as Mr. Narayan was also pointing out, there's an issue about the practicality of trying to be with the wider audience. But the counter argument is very simple. The counter argument has been that if the central person, if he's, of course, he will write the exam in Hindi, and if he gets a posting in a southern state, and if he doesn't know that particular language, what is the use of that person being posted in that southern language, southern state,
right,
where this particular language is being spoken?
Okay.
And if he's passed out of a Hindi or an English system, and he's in the southern state representing a central, like for example, Gladstone made that example of how the bank manager is speaking to him, but it doesn't work out.
Yes.
So he's in the wrong place also.
Yeah.
So how do you come to such
you correct it. See, that's what Mr. Xavier, I think you wanted to come in there. How do you correct then? For instance, Mr. Narayanan said, said what he said. What the thing is that, I'm just asking you, please correct me if I'm wrong. You give the examination in your local language, but have a working knowledge of, let us say, both Hindi and English. What if I'm in Tamil Nadu from Pudukkottai? I give it in Tamil. What if I'm posted in Bhopal?
Well, see, there have been people serving in the Indian Army as Jawans who had no problems in serving either in Kashmir or in Ladakh or wherever you are. They never were not taken based on the language they know. Language is something that you can acquire. At a later stage, through socialization, language can be acquired after you get the job. You need not know the language before getting. So now what happens is, they are doing what is known as a Hindi gatekeeping. The Hindi gatekeeping means only if you know Hindi, you will be allowed inside the gate, which is absolutely discriminatory. So what you do is, are you saying that so far the CRPF people have not learned Hindi? Are you saying that people in the Indian Army have served as Jawans and Havaldars and all other positions without knowing Hindi? When they enter, they did not know a word of Hindi. But slowly, by being there, they learn Hindi. They acquire a language. That's it.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah,
by
Mr.
giving
Xavier,
25 marks,
Mr.
you're
Xavier,
forcing people to learn Hindi and saying, okay,
Mr. Xavier, when it comes to the army
you're
and
forcing
let's say,
people to take up something.
yeah, it's easy, rather easy for human beings to understand certain set instructions. For instance, Savdhan, Vishram, in Hindi. Now, army really works around that, or fire, or rest, or whatever. But that bank example you gave, Mr. Xavier, there it becomes very, very difficult. What do you do? If I go and work in a bank in, let us say, Bhopal.
That's the whole point.
Right.
I will tell you, see, when talking about the same example which Mr. Venkatarayan was saying, if somebody wants to work in North India, they should be allowed to first enter. You're not allowing them to enter your doorstep. Teach them how to work, and then they will pick up. It's not, after all, it's not rocket science. It's not that difficult. You don't have to be a master of all the language before. Well, that's my choice. My choice. My choice is to study the language or not. When you can give your UPSC exam, an All India exam in your mother tongue, in Tamil, you can write that, right? The mains can be given. And you can be posted in Bengal. There's no problem.
Right.
They will learn it. But then don't allow them to enter first. Even if you're giving them 25 marks, will they? So let's say for NEET exam, there are the most number of colleges, medical colleges are in Tamil Nadu. Shall we have this? The Tamil Nadu colleges will teach only in Tamil. So if you know Tamil, shall the Tamil Nadu government give 30 marks for students from Tamil Nadu for NEET exam? Is that acceptable?
Right.
Will you agree on that? Because you're going to be
Yeah.
studying in Tamil Nadu, right? You're going to be interacting with patients. The language of instruction may be in English, but if you're going to be meeting with patients who are from Tamil Nadu, from rural Tamil Nadu, who are going to come to you during the house urgency, how will you even learn? You don't even know how to say how are you. You don't know how to communicate with the patient about the disease. So in that case, in the NEET exam, if there is a demand for increasing it to 30 marks for those who know Tamil, if you want to come and try in Tamil Nadu, is that okay? Is that acceptable?
Yeah, that's what I want to bring in Verghese here. Verghese, when the NEET, because we've done a lot of stories on NEET about to and fro. Should it be only in Tamil? You allow me to read and write in Tamil, allow me to sit for the exam in Tamil. Then the point is, there are other states which say that we have never objected. We speak Malayalam, we've never objected. We speak Kannada, we've never objected. So somewhere it is also the politics of Dravidian parties. Would you agree?
That's what I was initially also saying, that it is both. It is trying to project a social concern and at the same time do the political posturing as such. Social concern, of course, we all know, as we were discussing, what the practical problems are there, discriminatory in nature or not. We are discussing about it. But then the entire notion of Dravidian politics has been revolving around language.
Yes.
And therefore, it is important that they project the issue of language. So its politicking is also there. But again, so what I would like to tell you is, take a look at how it's changing in the rest of the states as well. Whether it is Telangana, whether it is Andhra Pradesh, whether it's Karnataka or in Kerala, Siddaramaiah has also asked for Kannada to be used as, and there should be a relaxation with regards. Why would suddenly all these states also slowly ask this question? So the era of saying that, this three-language system is going to be a two-language system. The question probably over there is that why should there be an unfair advantage to a certain group of people, because it becomes their mother tongue and they can give the test just because there is wide acceptability. That creates a system of discrimination for the 5 southern states or non-Hindi speaking states. That is what is being highlighted, and probably the Dravidian parties have used that as a vehicle to project their political
They've used it rather well,
They've used
I
it
mean,
quite well,
since the 60s, and not Muka Stalin, but even Muthuvel Karunanidhi. I mean, his entire existence was also because he said Hindi urige, which is ban Hindi. Mr. Narayanan, let me come to you now. Mr. Narayan, do you think that, like, I was talking to Verghese, and also I'm going to mix both their arguments here, what Gladstone said and what Verghese said. Gladstone says, listen, at least make the entry easy for them. Then they can maybe learn, a language if they are posted, let us say, in Kashmir or Bhopal or in Basti in Uttar Pradesh, wherever. Would you agree that at least make that easy for them? And the next question is that, after all, this is the kernel around which the Dravidian politics actually revolves. So where do you run away from here? Mr. Narayan, can you hear me?
My belief is that for central services, people aspiring for a job in the central services, it's very important for them to learn more than one language. If they are happy with just their mother tongue, then they should confine themselves to looking for jobs in their own states. Now I find Siddaramaiah is asking for exams to be held in Kannada. So there will be no end to this. It so happens that Hindi is spoken by nearly more than 40 crores of people in this country, and thanks to Bollywood Hindi cinema and Lata Mangeshkar, Hindi is widely understood across the country. So if somebody has any reservation about having to learn Hindi, nobody is forcing them. I mean, if you want a job which will require you to travel outside of your state, it is very essential for you to know Hindi and English. Otherwise, you'll be condemned to be stuck in your own state.
Right.
So with due respect to all the leaders, politicians who are, campaigning for central exams to be held in their mother tongue, my submission is that, sorry, that it does not mean that Tamil is not recognized as a great language. It's one of the oldest languages.
True.
And some people say that it's older than Sanskrit. Nobody is disputing about the greatness of a language. It is just a question of being practical in a country where so many different languages are being spoken. So English is a global language. Hindi is understood by more people than any other language in this country. Therefore, anybody who wants to do a central government job or a central service requiring you to go to other parts of the country apart from your own state, it is very, very essential.
Right. Point taken. Yeah, point taken. Yeah, point taken.
Right.
Mr. Gladstone, Mr. Xavier, I beg your pardon. Gladstone, you just heard what Mr. Narayan said. Now, the entire thing is that, you remember that when Kanimuri went to the airport and she was stopped by CISF, who said, do you know Hindi or English? Aren't you an Indian? And she said, well, to be an Indian, should I know only both these languages? I know Tamil and I'm equally an Indian. You remember that particular thing. But the point is, she had agency. She could protest. She could talk about these things. Let's come to practical. Let's come to brass tacks. It's about getting a job, Gladstone. That person or those kids, youngsters, what do you do? What do you do? You need to find a job, and I want to join CRPF. And I am, let us say, 20 years old. So what is the way out? Ultimately, you want a job. No, you want the hearth burning.
The point over here is very simple. Now, is it imposition? Or is it a choice? We are in a country, just because Hindi, you say that is understood by 40% of people or 50% of people or 40 million people, the numbers, we all know the importance of all languages, and all languages have an equal opportunity to exist, and you should be able to given that equal opportunity to apply, and it's right to livelihood is akin to right to life. All right. So very clearly, we should not say that if you want to apply for a national level job, you should know Hindi. That is not a very an argument which I would like to, humbly refuse to accept, because very simple for me, India as a country under the constitution, we are equal and we would like to have equal opportunity and we believe that. Now, just because it is a language, it need not be given any front seat.
Right.
But that's the first point. Second point is the entire fulcrum of Hindi is around looking at glorifying this one language and saying that because you know Hindi, you are more wise, you can communicate and therefore you're part of it. Now, this whole concept or the argument saying that they will be doomed in your state does not exist because there are enough and more resources within Tamil Nadu or Kerala or whichever state that we are talking about in the south, which people given a chance, except for the job and the kind of the way it is the attraction of the job.
Right.
Other than that, there's nothing there. Now,
Other than there is nothing.
point
I've
over
completely
here is
run out
very
of
simple.
time. My profuse apologies to you, Gladstone, and also to Mr. Narayan. But what a wonderful discussion. We had one for and one against. And also let me thank my colleague Varghese here. Mika Nandri, Varghese.
Thank you.
And that doesn't take anyone to understand what I just said in Tamil. I said thank you very much. So language is more about emotions. Thank you for watching.